Welcome to day 399. Tomorrow's day 400. Can you believe it? Day 399 of April. In April, we're talking about, opening up. Like literally the United States is opening up. The world is opening up, except for Europe. They're locked down. But we've been through this really long winter, and people are getting frustrated. It's time we open up. Well, if you're average, and you're not average, average people think opening up means I want to do what I want to do. Like they think it means, spring break. Let me go to the parties. Let me go to the nightclubs. You can't tell me what to do. Look at me. I'm a big boss man. No, you're not. No, you're not. And they think that's what opening up means. What we're doing for the all month of April and May and June, as this pandemic comes to an end, is we're going to open up to the possibilities. We're opening up to what you're able to do, what's possible for you, okay? We're going to open up to realities. We're going to open up our minds. We're going to open up our relationships. No, not that way, you kinky motherfucker. We're opening up to, new friends and possibilities. And we're going to level up. That's what I mean by opening up. Right, Bethany Ware? Right, Ann-Julie Kent? Right, Charlene Spencer? Mary Doe? Right. Michelle Estrella. Right, Glow? All right, we're going to open up our minds. And we've been working on that by talking about our fears, our bullshit fears. Michelangelo says, God put the image in the marble, and I have to just chip away the excess. And so for the month of April, May, June, you're going to have to chip away the excess. That perfect being is inside of you. It's endowed within you. And all you have to do is open it up, right? You chip away the excess, the fears, the fake fears, man. I'm telling you. So today I gave you an amazing, short, 3-minute Carolyn Mize video. And if you don't remember who she is, she's the one that says, are you going to pass on the wisdom or the woe? Are you going to pass on the wisdom or the woe? Are you going to wake up and say, oh my God, another day? Or are you going to realize that every day has potential to be perfect? It's amazing. So this little 3-minute clip will change your life on how to heal. And it's very, very fucking powerful. Tip number 1, and we are almost done. I gotta go get my vaccine. Tip number 1, the healing, the way to healing. Oh, actually do this first. Put a 1 in the comments section if you are still hurt over something. Really hurt. I'm not talking butt hurt. I'm talking like someone did something awful to you and you can't forgive them. We hear horrific stories of abuse and neglect, drug addiction, violence, rape, torture, murder. We have a couple cult members in this tribe. Put a 1 in the comment section if something has happened that you can't forgive. You can't heal. In this video, Carolyn Mize says, the way to heal is through the soul. That's tip number 1. The way to heal is through the soul. So if you're not able to heal, if you haven't forgiven, if you're still holding on to the past, if you're still holding on to something that's happened, then it's disconnected from your soul. She says, imagine that person that really hurt you. Imagine that person that really hurt you. Came up to you and said, hey, you know that thing I did to you? Don't get triggered. You know when you were 10 years old and I sexually abused you? My bad. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm really sorry. Let's let bygones be bygones. And then walks off. How would you feel? If your rapist came up to you and said, hey, you remember that night in college when I drugged you and raped you? My bad. I didn't mean to hurt you. All right, thanks. I'm out of here. What would you do? You would go, whoa, 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 time out. No, that doesn't feel right. And what doesn't feel right? Tip number 2. You didn't mean to hurt me? What the fuck you talking about? You didn't mean to hurt me. What? That doesn't feel right. That's the knife. It's like stabbing into your belly. That's like even worse. Amen. Can I get a yes if you agree that when someone tries to apologize to you and the first fucking thing out of their mouth is, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. That makes it worse. That's not a fucking apology. What do you mean you didn't mean to hurt me? Caroline Mai says, that doesn't sit right. That doesn't sit right. Now, on the other hand, what if your molester or your rapist or your abuser came to you and said, I need to apologize. I really hurt you. You know that thing I did? I knew it was going to hurt you. I knew what I was doing. And I did it anyway. I did it anyway. And her words are so powerful. She says, I sinned against you. And I'm here bearing my soul to you. And I need your forgiveness. How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? If, like me, you get teary-eyed and it hits you in the gut, and there's this little bit of peace, this little bit of anger, this little funny feeling inside the pit of your stomach that makes your eyes well up with tears. Caroline Mai says, that's your soul. That's the door to your soul. That's what you need to walk through. So, I've watched a lot of Carolyn's videos, and she talks about the soul. Tip number 3. She says, you're going to follow me into the parking lot and says, what's the soul, Carolyn? What's the soul? Oprah asked her, what's the soul? She says, the soul is this lightness of being. The soul is this lightness of being. But the word light needs a definition. Otherwise, it's just fluff. And she says, that lightness of your soul that you feel, that's hope. So, tip number 3, your soul is that sense of hope that you hold on to. And I said, wow, that's really powerful. And she says, everybody can understand hope. Comment if you get that. My soul is this feeling of hope, this lightness. So powerful. Then she says, tip number 4, in every moment, you only have 2 choices. You're either lifting up your soul or you're draining the energy. You're either lifting up your soul or you're draining its energy. Life is binary. You're either walking towards your passion or you're walking away from it. You're either walking towards love or you're walking towards fear. You're either lifting up your soul or you're spending time with people who drain it. And specifically, she says, I swear, I did not make this shit up. She literally says, imagine you're trying to lose weight. And I said, really? Let's hear this example. And she goes, you're looking at something, this item of food, and you shouldn't eat it. You know you should not eat it. And you're looking at it, you're in this moment, and you're going, should I eat this? And your brain says, motherfucker, what are you doing? You know you should not eat this. In that moment, you are making a decision to either lift up your soul or drain it of its energy. You're either walking towards love or walking away from love. There's only two choices. So if you say, nah, I don't need this, I'll get a green smoothie, I'll go for a walk, I'll do some journaling, meditation, I'll work in my garden. I'll go out to my garden, I'll eat some lettuce like a damn rabbit. You're walking, you're lifting up your soul. If you say, shut the fuck up, I deserve this, and you eat it, you're draining your soul of energy. That's very powerful. In any moment during the day, imagine back to yesterday. You probably had some moment yesterday where you were in conversation with somebody. Comment if this is you, if this is true, if this happened yesterday. And you had an opportunity to not say something. And you said it anyway. And you hurt their feelings. And the conversation went sideways. It got twisted. You got sad. They got sad. They got bugged. They got hurt. It didn't have to be an all-out, no, I'm not talking a big scream fest. I'm not talking like punches. I'm just talking a little snarky comment as you left the door, or they left. Or this little bit of criticism that you just didn't need to say, but you said it anyway. Comment if something like that recently has happened, where you know, oh, I wish I hadn't said that. I wish I hadn't said that. Tip number next one. That, Carolyn Mai says, that is grace. And I was like, no. Amazing grace that saved a wretch like me. She said, that is grace. That is grace with its hand on your shoulders, saying, don't say this. You're going to regret this. You're going to regret this. Don't walk away. Or walk away. Don't stay here. That's grace. And what we've done, this is a Dr. Vuong tip. Dr. Vuong says, every day we make these minuscule decisions. These minuscule decisions that ignores the grace, that ignores our soul. And fast forward 20, 30, 40 years, we wonder why we suffer. We wonder why we have to eat our emotions. We wonder why we get triggered or bugged or bothered. No, Dr. Vuong, you don't understand. This bad thing really happened to me when I was 10 years old. How many times? 1 time. 10 times. Every day. Every day for 4 years, he abused me. When did it stop? When I was 16. Did it? Yes, he stopped. He went to jail. He died. He had a heart attack. He moved away. But it stopped at 16. Did it? What do you mean, Dr. V? Did it stop when you were 16? Or have you been reliving it every single day? Fuck you, Dr. V. And when you were 17, it still hurt. When you were 18, it still hurt, but just a little less. When you were 19, it still hurt, but just a little less than when you were 18. When you were 20, got a little distance. I'm a grown woman. I'm married, but I'm married to the wrong guy. But it still hurt, but I got this new guy in my life. 25, I'm going through a divorce. It hurt and less. It's been 10 years. But I got a new guy. I left that first guy. Turned out he wasn't the right guy. And you don't know it, but the second guy is the same guy. Just in a different body. They're the same guy. 30 years old now. Dr. Vuong, you were right. It was the same guy. Maybe I should stay single for a while. Yeah, that's a good idea. Why don't you try that? Grace is on your shoulder and she says, why don't you try staying single for a little while? I'm going to throw it into my career. I'm just going to work towards my career. Look at me go. I got promotion. I'm an executive. I've been successful. Dr. Vuong, you don't know what you're talking about. Money doesn't matter. I've been successful before, and I almost drove myself to death working hard. I worked hard. I was burning myself, candles both ends. I was miserable. See, I told you money's not important. Success is not important. I had it all, and I almost died. I know, look at Dr. V suffering so bad right now. So miserable. More money than I've ever had in my life. More love, more joy. Look at me, so miserable. My question for you is, did it really stop? Every little moment you give attention, even if it's only a fleeting. Maybe it's just a quick remembrance of his face. Maybe you just revisit that moment for a millisecond. It's a little bit of taking away from your soul. Now you get therapy. I gotta rip it open, Dr. V. Rip open the wounds, Dr. V. I'm gonna bare my soul to my therapist. And your therapist says, tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me next month. Tell me next week. Tell me next month. Tell me next year. And then one day you go, I've seen you for 10 years. When are you gonna heal me? Comment if you've seen your therapist for 10 years. And one day you wake up and you realize, when are you gonna heal me? And the therapist says, oh, you wanna get better? I didn't know you wanted to get better. I thought you just wanted to talk about it. You mean talking about it is not the same thing as healing it? No. No. Last tip. Well, then how do I heal, Dr. V? How do I heal, Dr. V? Carolyn Mai says, you have to understand this. You have to understand this. Reality is the classroom for your soul. Reality is the classroom for your soul. And in every day, in every minute, you have to make this little, minuscule decision. Am I going to uplift my soul, or am I going to drain it? Am I going to walk towards love, or am I going to walk away from love? Am I going to walk towards health, or am I going to walk away from health? Am I going to help myself, or am I going to hurt myself? You only have two choices. There is no in between. There is no kind of sorta. Explain something to me. Give me an example of something that is in between. There is no in between. It might be a little step towards your soul or a little step away from your soul. But every decision you make is either towards love, towards God, towards forgiveness, or towards anger. It either lifts you up or pushes you down. And I said, Carolyn, you just explained obesity in a completely different way. For many years, in very minuscule steps, you've walked away from that true self, that true God-created being inside of you. Yes? Whether you want to say you put on fat layers to protect yourself from abuse, which is BS, because if fat people get abused, fat people get raped, fat people have problems. But in the moment, you take tiny baby steps away from your soul. So now you have to decide. Now you have to decide right now. Am I going to lift myself up, or am I going to push myself down? Am I going to start a garden, or am I going to keep saying I have a black thumb? Am I going to start saving money, or am I going to keep saying money burns a hole in my pocket? Am I going to start figuring out how to make more money, or am I going to keep lying to myself and saying money doesn't grow on trees? It only works for Dr. V, because it doesn't work for me. It works for Shan, but it doesn't work for Glow. See, I know they're sisters. It works for Catherine, but it doesn't work for Liz Rose. It works for Carmen, but it doesn't work for Sally. It works for Margaret, but Margaret's so dang cute, it can't possibly work for Diane. Are you kidding me? Jim Rohn says if it works for one of us, it works for all of us. If Mary Beth can be 110 pounds, 5'5", 110 pounds, shit, she's like Erica size, then of course it could work for you. If it works for Anissa, it can work for Carmen. If it worked for John, it can work for Michael. If it works for Teresa, it can work for Jennifer. If it works for one of us, it works for all of us. Just remember that. In every little moment. Let's say you really want this damn Girl Scout cookie, right? Take a bite of apple. I walk towards my soul. Take a bite of Girl Scout cookie. Okay, carbon neutral. Do one push-up. Do one squat. Do one knee bend. Try one yoga pose. Dr. V, that's stupid. That doesn't make a difference. April newbies and March newbies and February newbies. There were no February newbies. Won't remember this, but for those of you who remember, Prince Daniels, my friend, former NFL running back for the Baltimore Ravens, said that after his career ended, he fell into depression He was lost. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know who he was. He made a plan to kill himself. He had the gun in the closet. He was living with his parents. His parents had no idea. They would eat together, they would have breakfast, they'd have dinner, they'd ask him, Prince, how's your day? What'd you do today? And he would be happy, he'd say, no problem. And then he would go into his closet. And he would take this gun and practice shooting himself. He would put the gun to his chin and pull the trigger. Because his whole life was about the playbook, was about practice. As an NFL football player, his whole life had been dedicated to practice. You practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you show up on Sunday for game day. So he's practicing every single day. He goes into his closet. He puts the gun to his chin. He pulls the trigger. He leaves the closet. He comes out. He lives his life, and no one has a clue that on this one day, he's going to end his life. He freaks out. It is about an hour before he's going to kill himself. He calls this guru, this master, and tells him, lays it all on him. I'm going to kill myself. I'm miserable. I'm unhappy. He dumps all the garbage on him. And then the guy says something to him he'll never forget. I said, what did he say? He said, are you done yet? And Prince goes, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I just told you I'm about to kill myself, and your only advice is, are you done yet? He goes, yeah, are you done yet? I said, well, fuck, I guess I am done. He goes, okay, sit and meditate. So Prince sets a timer. He says, I'm going to give myself 1 hour of meditation. 1 hour. And if I don't feel better in an hour, I'm going to kill myself. So he sits there in his closet. The gun is at the floor in his lap next to him, right? And he starts meditating, looks over, 10 minutes, looks over, meditates, looks over, 30 minutes left, looks over. He's like, motherfucker. 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes left. He's getting nervous. He looks over, 1 minute. He has 1 minute left, or he's going to kill himself. And then in that moment, in that 1 minute, he has this divine download that came down to him, eases his turmoil, eases his pain and suffering, goes through his heart. And in that 1 minute, he finds peace. And he does not kill himself. My friend Prince Daniels was down to his last minute of life on this earth. So when you say it doesn't matter, it's only a minute, it's only, give me a second, it's only a 30-minute show, it's only 1 hour of Netflix, it's only one afternoon, it's only one weekend. When you sit there and say it's only 1 minute, it won't matter, it won't hurt. Just remember, my friend Prince Daniels was down to his last minute. And then he was touched by grace. And in that moment, he was reconnected to his soul. And I'm telling you, that in under a minute, you could reconnect to your soul. If you opened up to grace, you could have that healing. You could have that enlightenment. You could start that step towards healing. You could start designing your best life. You could start chipping away at all that excess marble to get to the real you. It doesn't take forever. And it definitely doesn't take a lifetime. It could take just 1 minute. You guys have an amazing day.